2008, Aaron and I bought a house in the Carolinas. Of course, by the end of 2008, the market had completely collapsed and we were facing an upside down mortgage. Okay? But guess what? They decided not to build our section of the community. So by law, remember they have to put these things in escrow. By law, they had to give us back every single penny we put down. Well, in the meantime, we were coming to visit her brother who was going to school in St. Augustine, and I kind of fell in love with St. Augustine. The fishing was great. There's 6 kinds of fishing here. The restaurants, oh my, some of them were really, really good. There was a lot of things about St. Augustine that I loved. And so she turned around and said, this would be in 2009, why don't you go look at a place for us in St. Augustine? So I come down here. The guy the real estate agent, he was named Caputo, I think it was his name, something like that. And he turns around, and our telephone conversation was this oh, you better find me the right kind of place, because don't show me no crappy info. And then he's like, yeah, well, you better not bring your whole New York attitude down here. They don't like it. And we had that conversation. Okay. So then I get down here, takes me to the first place. He shows me the place has, I don't know, it has a $300,000 Mercedes-Benz. The next place had a Rolls Royce. The next, I didn't want to be like Jed Clampett or anything, so that place was no good. Then we go to another place. There's a lady outside eating out of a bag, okay? She's eating like out of a bag, sitting in front of a, it's like, and then I looked at the cars. All the cars were 20 years old. Okay, this isn't where I want to be. Then the next place was, I go ahead and I look, and all of a sudden I realize it's 12 o'clock, and then out of that place came 4 college students with books and everything. That one, 3 college students. That one, 4 college students. I'm in the college dormitory almost. It's like, no, I don't want to live here either, okay? So he said, I'm out of places, but a friend of mine, they built a place in 2008, okay? But by 2009, the market had dropped out, so the place went bankrupt. And his boss just bought the whole complex, and they're now starting to sell these units, okay? And they're about 75% off the original prices. I said, okay, I'll go look. As soon as I walked through the door and looked around at the layout of the place, I knew I'm buying the place, okay? So he introduces me to Billy, okay? And Billy turns around and says, so what brought you there? He's from Tennessee. I don't do Tennessee really well, but he goes, so what brought you down to St. Augustine? And I said, well, I liked the town. It was a nice little quiet town. I love the idea that the local nickname for this place is we're a fishing village with a drinking problem. No, we're a drinking village with a fishing problem, okay? So I go ahead and we're talking. He says, fishing, boy, you like fishing? And he starts talking, and it turns out we fish the same man-made lake in South America, okay? We fish some of the most interesting fishing places around the world, and we're talking about fishing, and all of a sudden he turns around, he points at his watch, said, almost 4 o'clock. I get out of here at 4 o'clock, and guess what? I got a boat. I said, yeah. He said, yeah, you want to go fishing? So we go ahead and we go fishing. We catch a couple nice redfish. Everything's nice. And he turns around and he says, hey, you know what? I'm having a card game later. He said, why don't you come over to the card game? Okay. I asked the stakes and they were within my range. I said, okay, I'll come over to the card game. So I get to his house. The first thing I notice is a longhorn sheep. There's an 8-point buck. There's freaking animals I don't even know the name of around his house, around the wall. The table for the card game was standing on a 9-foot alligator, okay? It was like, that was the base of the table, was an alligator, okay? So we go ahead and we sit down, and I don't know how, but I got the knight from the card gods. I don't know how, but I'm getting 4 kings. I'm getting straight flushes. I'm getting hands I never freaking get, okay? But I'm looking around at the stuffed animals, okay, and I'm like, maybe I should take it a little easy. So I get the 4 kings, and some guy raises me. I just call. I don't raise him back. I got 4 kings. I should be raising this guy back, okay. Then I get the straight flush, and the maximum bet was $20. I bet $10, okay. So after a few of those, Billy turns around and says, Gary, come on in the kitchen. I want to talk to you. So we go in the kitchen. He says, I know you know how to play poker. Why you didn't raise on them 4 kings? Why you just put a $10 bet in? I turned around and said, Billy, right now you're my only friend in Florida. Okay, and the other 5 guys at that table are the only other 5 guys I know in Florida. I didn't want to be the Yankee, came down here and ripped up your card game. And he turned around and said, wow, you're a good old boy. He said, you know what? I got a deal for you. He says, I got one unit that has a renter in it because we were going to rent them at first, okay? And we can't get her out for a year and a half to almost 2 years, okay? He says, if you could wait 2 years to move down, okay, you can. I couldn't move down in 2 years no matter what I did. I said, yeah, I could do that. He said, well, the place is $129,000, but for you, you're going to get it for $99,000. I said, what are you kidding me? I'll take it. So I bought the place, and then I didn't realize, but I got the rental income. The lady paid my mortgage, and I made money. So the 2 years turned out to be like 3 years before I ever had to make my first mortgage payment. Okay, I was not only. It was absolutely brilliant. It was like it literally fell from the sky. So me and Erin used to come down, and we would come down and we would make plans to come down for 6 weeks at a time, okay? So what would happen would be, you gotta understand, Erin's father and stepmother, they had a set of twins when Erin was like 11 or 12. So they were party people. They left those kids with her all the time. She was basically those kids' mothers, and she didn't leave the house until what do you call it? Not the college, but the one right after college, like graduate school. Okay, so she didn't leave. So when we were coming down, these kids, okay, her stepbrother and sister were having babies, and the little kids were going to their first recital, and Erin would be like, we'd be here for a week, and I got to go back up. It's the little one's recital. It's her first dance recital. And she would go back up for a month at a time. Okay. So after 6 of those, I was here for 6 months by myself. Eventually we realized she wants to be there and I'm not going back there. So what we did is we wound up splitting up. By the way, the divorce attorney said it was the most fun, friendly divorce he ever had. We were arguing about, no, you take the speaker system. No, you take the speaker system. That was the argument. The argument was, you could have this. No, you take this. So we had that kind of divorce.